Every Philadelphia fan remembers the days when our offense felt unstoppable, but lately, there is a nagging feeling that something is missing right in the heart of the field. We see the talent on the outside, yet the middle remains a ghost town, and it is starting to become a major concern for the Birds' future success. As an insider who spends every day at the NovaCare complex, I can tell you the tension is real because the numbers finally confirmed what our eyes have been seeing. It is time. Jalen Hurts is at the center of a statistical anomaly that is currently rocking the foundations of the Eagles' coaching staff and the front office. While we all love his leadership and his ability to win games, the reality of his passing chart is becoming impossible to ignore any longer. Last season, our star quarterback had only 28 pass attempts between the hash marks, which is a shockingly low number for a veteran in this league. To put that in perspective, that ranked 28th in the NFL among his peers. It is even more alarming when you realize that even though he played a full season, he had fewer throws to the middle than several rookies, and even fewer than Tom Brady, who has been retired for a year now. This lack of aggression in the middle of the field has created a ripple effect throughout the entire roster, and it is a major reason why Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have faced moments of visible frustration during games recently. A.J. Brown wants the ball in space where he can work, and the quarterback has been hesitant to pull the trigger in those high-traffic areas. When the news broke about these specific numbers, it sent a shockwave through the fan base because it highlights a clear limitation in an otherwise elite player. We have also seen how this impacts the connection with the rest of the receiving corps, as the defense can simply sit on the outside routes without fear of being burnt over the middle. It is a predictable pattern that has made our offense look stagnant during the most critical moments of the season. The front office knows that for this team to return to a Super Bowl level, the quarterback must evolve and trust what he sees in the seams. We are looking at a situation where the coaching staff has provided every tool imaginable, but the execution is falling short in one specific vital area of the field. If Jalen Hurts cannot find a way to incorporate these throws into his regular routine, the Eagles are going to remain a one-dimensional passing attack that top-tier defenses will continue to solve. This is not just about one bad game. The most frustrating part of this entire situation is that when this talented athlete actually decides to throw into the middle, he is actually one of the most efficient players in the entire world. The numbers show a passer rating that is nearly at the top of the league when the ball travels between those hash marks. It is a confusing puzzle because the results are excellent, yet the volume remains at the bottom of the barrel. This suggests that the issue is not a lack of skill, but rather a deep-seated reluctance to take risks in crowded areas. This player has always been praised for protecting the football and making smart decisions, but sometimes being too safe can actually hurt the team more than taking a chance. We have seen this play out at Lincoln Financial Field time and time again where the offense stalls because the intermediate passing game is non-existent. The coaching staff has tried to implement a system that is risk-averse to help the team win close games, but it has created a glass ceiling for the offense's potential. When a defense does not have to worry about the middle 15 yards of the field, they can double-team the stars on the perimeter and make life miserable for everyone involved. This young leader needs to understand that the NFL has changed, and you cannot win a championship in the modern era by only throwing to the sidelines. He has the arm strength and the accuracy to make these plays, as evidenced by his high completion percentage on the rare occasions he tries. The hesitation seems to be mental, or perhaps a byproduct of the coaching he has received over the last few seasons. However, the game is moving fast, and the window for this current roster is not going to stay open forever. We need to see a shift in philosophy where the ball is distributed more evenly across the entire width of the turf. This would open up the running lanes and give the playmakers more room to breathe. Without this change, the offense will continue to look like a square peg being forced into a round hole. The Philadelphia Eagles did not spend this entire offseason retooling the roster just to see the same old problems on the field next Sunday. The front office went out and brought in a specific group of players who thrive in the exact areas where the quarterback has been struggling to throw. When you look at guys like Mekhi Lemon or Dontavian Wicks, these are players who make their living by running crisp routes right into the teeth of the defense. Hollywood Brown was brought in because he can fly across the field and catch balls in stride, creating huge gains after the catch. Even the new tight end, Eli Stowers, is a specialist at finding the soft spots in the seams. If the ball does not get to them, then all of those roster moves were essentially a waste of time and money. This matters because it directly affects whether the team wins 10 games or 13 games this season. We have seen Dallas Goedert and Devonta Smith do their best to provide options, but they cannot do it all alone if the primary focus remains on the boundaries. If this offense can actually start using the middle of the field, it will make every single player on the field better. The offensive line will have an easier time blocking because the defenders will be spread out. The running backs will have more room to burst through the line because the linebackers will have to drop back into coverage more often. It is a simple equation of math and space that the team has been ignoring for too long. If the signal caller continues to play it safe, we are looking at another season where we struggle against the elite defenses of the NFC. Fans in Philadelphia deserve a team that uses every weapon in the arsenal to crush the opposition. We have the talent, we have the coaching, and now we just need the execution to match the ambition of the front office. Every missed throw to the middle is a missed opportunity to move the chains and keep the defense off the field. This is the biggest hurdle standing. We are approaching a fork in the road that will define the next decade of football for this franchise. In the best-case scenario, this talented leader listens to the critics and the coaches and finally unlocks the middle of the field. If he does that, this offense will become the most dangerous unit in the NFL, and we will likely be celebrating a deep playoff run. The new receivers will be catching touchdowns, the veterans will be happy, and the contract questions will fade into the background. However, the worst-case scenario is much darker for the fans who have invested so much heart into this team. If he refuses to change his ways and keeps the ball on the outside, the offense will eventually hit a wall that it cannot climb over. The frustration in the locker room will continue to grow, and the front office will be forced to make some very uncomfortable decisions about the future. We have to look at the financial reality of the situation because the money is about to get very complicated. By the time 2027 rolls around, the guaranteed money starts to dry up and the cap hits become astronomical. If the team is winning games, but the offense feels limited, the organization might decide that they have reached the ceiling with this specific player. It would be a heartbreaking end to a successful era, but the NFL is a business that prioritizes results over loyalty. The tension is building every single week because every pass attempt is being scrutinized by the fans and the analysts. We all want him to succeed and become the legendary figure we know he can be, but the pressure to adapt is higher than it has ever been. Imagine the feeling of watching a quarterback who has everything except that one final piece of the puzzle. It creates a sense of anxiety every time he drops back to pass. We are either watching the evolution of a superstar or the beginning of a very long and painful goodbye. The stakes could not be any higher for the city of Philadelphia. The situation is clear as day for anyone who watches the tape. Our quarterback is a winner and a leader, but he is currently playing with one hand tied behind his back by avoiding the middle of the field. The Eagles have provided him with the best supporting cast in the league and a system designed to make his life easier. Now, it is up to him to step out of his comfort zone and make the throws that define great players. We cannot afford to have another season where we leave yards on the field because of hesitation. Be honest with yourself as a fan. Would you feel comfortable committing $50 million a year to a player who refuses to use the entire field? It is a tough question that we all have to face eventually. We want to hear from you in the comments about whether you think he can change or if this is just who he is as a player. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive Eagles insider news. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a beat as we follow this developing story throughout the entire season.